Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today is gonna be a fun video. I'll be making meals with food that I already have in my house, and I'll be using my Dash Mini waffle maker. You can use a regular size waffle maker also, but of course you really don't need a waffle maker at all to make these recipes. You can just make them in a pan. I had planned to use regular potatoes, but it is a holiday weekend and I'm feeling like taking it easy, so I thought I would use the canned potatoes in this, and I do think I added way too many. So I'm going to remove some of these. I found that it's good to set the waffle maker on something. That way if it overflows, it's easy to clean up. And I did let this warm up before I started. And I'm going to spray this with nonstick, but you can also use a brush with some oil and then just brush it over. I'm obviously new to using this, so the first time I overflowed this and it did come out the sides a little bit, but that's okay. I'll use less next time. The end of this does get kind of hot, so you do need to use either a pot holder or a utensil of some kind to push it down. And I'm just looking to get that cheese kind of crispy. I guess they call these chaffles with eggs and cheese, and they're kind of big for low carb eaters or people eating keto diets because there's so many different varieties of these low carb options that you can make. Today I just wanted to make some very quick little omelets in this thing, and I really like the idea of adding potatoes to mine. This cooked so quickly. I mean, it was literally in there for probably a minute or so, and these little crispy cheddar cheese bits are delicious. Okay, let's give this a try. I'm going to add a little more pepper and a little sriracha over the top. And this sriracha is a little bit too thick, actually, but that's fine. It'll taste good. I wasn't sure if I wanted to mash the potatoes up, but first I just thought I would leave them in the chunks and try it like that. There's lots of experimenting that I want to do with this little Dash cooker. Gosh, that's the way to eat eggs if you're going to eat eggs. This is amazing, and that cheddar is so good on here. It just cooks so quickly. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. So today is a holiday, and I thought it would be fun to make a waffle station and then just make some different varieties of these. And I'm just grabbing things that I have in my fridge. I've got some cabbage. I mashed up the potatoes this time. I have some garlic, some onions, some oil, and some cheddar cheese. And I found some Bar S chorizo in the freezer that I had purchased on a really good deal a while back. And I cut this into little pieces, and I'm going to try to layer this on the bottom of one of these waffles. My son actually saw the chaffle that I made yesterday, and he said it looked really good. So this morning he asked me to make him some of these. And basically what I have realized is that I can get about 1 egg to every waffle. I like the idea of having a station like this set up, maybe like on a Saturday or Sunday, and then each family member can come through here and just make their own breakfast. I just love having new ideas like this where the family can participate. It gives them something kind of interesting. This would also be fun to do if you had grandkids and you could just oversee them, of course, doing this so that they don't burn themselves. But I think that they would get a real kick out of being able to do this themselves. The reason I got out the cabbage was I was thinking about making a version of Bubble and Squeak with one of these, but I was just thinking you could make okonomiyaki with this. And if you're not familiar with what those are the Japanese cabbage pancakes. They have eggs and cabbage and carrots and onions. You can add a little bit of flour to those with some salt and some pepper, and then you usually top those with either a mayonnaise or a soy sauce mixture. However, there are lots of different variations that you can make on that recipe, and that would be super fast in this little waffle maker. But for this first one, I'm just kind of experimenting on making one for myself. And for some reason, there is a problem with the clip that I imported of making the rest of this, so we're just going to skip to the end. I love the way the cheese gets kind of crispy and chewy. It really makes this texture nice. And then I added some frozen berries to the plate. I like to eat these when they just start to thaw out a little bit. And the surprising thing about this one is, you really can't taste the cabbage in there, but it was really good. Plus it ups the nutritional value. I would make this one again. Now I'm going to make a chorizo one for my son. I actually got this for you guys a while back. It was a really great deal, and I thought I would try to make some kind of budget meal with it, but it's been in my freezer and I just haven't used it. So I went ahead and pulled one piece out and chopped it into small pieces. It is fully cooked, but I am going to try to cook it a little bit first, just so that maybe it gets a little bit of caramelization on there before I add in the egg. You could also use canned ham or Spam. You could also add some soy chorizo, like that one I've been getting from Trader Joe's. I think that would be really good here. There are just so many options for this, and really for me, I'm just working with whatever I have in my house at the time. One of the best ways to save money on food is to have zero waste. And you don't always need to run to the grocery store in order to get ingredients to make a recipe. Just modify the recipe and use what you have. This time, I'm going to see how it works with the cheese on the bottom. I'm trying egg-based versions of this today, but my mind is thinking of so many different ways to use this. I'm thinking of maybe making some red lentil patties with this, or I'm also wondering how some chickpea patties would work for a vegan option. What I really want to know is if it will hold together in this, or if it'll break apart. That one required some creativity to get out. I almost think it's better if the cheese is on the top. I think it comes out of the little waffle maker better. And then for my next one, I'm going to make a version of the Bubble and Squeak, and I'm going to see how it does in this. And then for these onions, I did actually grate these because I wanted them to cook very quickly, and I thought that that would work a little bit better. The best recipes I've made always stick out in my mind, and if you're wondering what the heck is Bubble and Squeak, then go check out my recipes channel. That is one of the recipes that I posted over there. But basically, it's like an upgraded version of hash browns that has cabbage and onions in it. It's super good. And some of my viewers have said that they add leftover pot roast, so I think that the recipe came about from people making something out of their leftover Sunday dinner. But I thought it would just be fun, since I have frequently thought of that recipe since I've made it, to maybe try to redo that here. And I'm not sure how this is going to work with the canned potatoes, but I'm going to give it a try. Unfortunately, this didn't do so well, and it's not coming out of the pan very easily. I'm wondering how this would have worked with regular shredded potatoes, because they still have the peels on them and all the starch to hold them together. These do taste very good though. So I'm just gonna move these to the side, and these will be our breakfast potatoes. I made several different versions of these chaffles, and my son actually liked this one with the chorizo best, so I ended up making him 2 of these. However, when I asked him to give me his review on that chorizo sausage, he liked it, but he said it was mild, and so I'm thinking that he might actually like something else better instead of this. Like, I was thinking even I would rather have a small amount of something very delicious than a lot of something that's just kind of, mediocre. And so on that note, I was thinking you could even probably go to the deli and ask for just a couple slices of prosciutto, and then you could chop that into some smaller pieces, and just a couple slices would go a really long way for breakfast. I do love the taste of cheddar with eggs, but I think this next creation was my favorite. And for this one, I was just using items that I already had in my fridge. I had some spinach, and I just julienned that into small pieces, and then added that into the egg mixture, and added some salt and pepper, and I also have some leftover feta, and then I added just a few red pepper flakes. Oh, and I did want to let you guys know that I finally got a new schedule for work, and I did get a flex schedule, so I'm gonna have 1 day off every other week, and I'm hoping that's gonna help me to be able to work on more extreme budget challenge videos, because I do love those so much, and I think that those are the most helpful, but they do take a lot longer to produce. So I'm going to give it a shot with my next video, and we'll see how I do. My son also commented on how good he thought that the feta one was. And there's just so many options that you can do with this. I had some other recipes that I wanted to try, but I did run out of time. There are so many things that we can make in this, so I do think that this is going to be a regular on my channel. I like the way the first waffle with the cheddar really didn't taste like egg at all. It mostly just tasted like the cheddar, and I loved the consistency of it. And this feta waffle was delicious. I could literally eat this every day. These little waffles are a great way to use up any small leftovers that you have in your fridge. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. I know it's a little different from my normal content, but hopefully it's got you thinking of new ways to make some affordable meals. And now I'm off to work on an extreme budget challenge. I'll see you next week, friends.
Morning has broken, my windows are open. Wanna feel the wind blow through my hair. Which way do I follow? What happens tomorrow? I turn to you and hope you can guide the way. Sometimes I give up, just wanna be on my own. so